Morning guys, how we're doing? Now, have you ever had that experience where your brain basically decides to go on vacation at the most inappropriate time? I had one of those experiences yesterday. Now, where to start? I've been working at IBM for 23, 24 years, something like that. I've actually lost count. And whilst I joined IBM as a developer, and I'm still fairly much of a technologist and technically minded, I have been working more and more aligned with industry and getting insights into the industry that I work in, banking and financial markets, and building myself up as an industry leader. Now, in IBM, we've got something called the Industry Academy. It's the collection of IBM's top industry thought leaders across the industries that IBM is focused on, and obviously banking and financial markets is one of them. To get there, you basically go for a number of steps. You get issued these badges where you prove that you've got insights and industry leadership, all the way up to platinum level, which I reached 2 years ago. And then the next step is to get into the Industry Academy, and again you fill out a case, a justification package as to why you should be considered for the Industry Academy. And then you do a panel interview with existing thought leaders where they interview you and decide whether they think that you've got the insights and the industry knowledge that you require to be a member of the Industry Academy. Now, I had my interview yesterday for the Industry Academy, and it sort of went okay. I think it's always difficult to gauge how well you've done in any sort of interview. But towards the end, there came a moment where my brain honestly just basically went on vacation, and I was killing myself afterwards. One of the panelists turned around and said to me, "Hey, Paul, your podcast that you host, what was the subject of your last episode?" And I thought, what? Hang on. And honestly, my brain just disappeared. I couldn't remember the subject of the last episode. Now, part of that was because I was in the middle of editing the episode that we're releasing end of this week. But honestly, completely gone. I could not remember the subject of the last episode we published, and I couldn't even remember the subject of the episode that I was in the middle of editing that's being released at the end of this week. And just gone. And afterwards, obviously, I remembered as soon as the interview finished, I went, but of course. Yeah, we spoke to Gimme, the Swedish fintech that's focused on educating the younger generation on money management, etc. But during the interview, completely gone. But one of the things that came out of the interview as well was a chance for me to reflect afterwards on the technologies that I believe is going to shape the banking industry for the next 2 to 3 years. So I thought we'd go through that list, and then maybe you can add something to it and tell me if you think I'm wrong. But I can see the following technologies as being critical in the banking industry going forwards and help to shape the future of banking. The first one, obviously, is cloud. So a hybrid multi-cloud is going to be critical as an infrastructure for the banks going forwards. It's going to give them that flexibility, agility, and architectural baseline to survive the disruption going forwards that they have to go through. So cloud native architectures, microservices, the ability to build once, deploy anywhere, and move both from on-premise to off-premise, etc. I think that's going to be critically important as an infrastructure going forwards. The next one is artificial intelligence, cognitive computing. I think banks need to lower their overall costs, and one way of doing that is to do a digital transformation as much as possible on existing processes and on the engagement that they have with their customers. Call centers is not going to continue to be scalable. So having intelligent workflows that go across the organizational boundaries, pulling together an ecosystem of partners into new business models and new products that they can offer to their customers is going to be important, and you need to have cognitive capabilities for that. But secondly, I think digital assistance, the ability to have cognitive-based systems give advisory capabilities to customers, moving towards this notion of banking to the power of one, the customers being seen as individuals rather than general demographics, and being able to help them in their money management going forwards. Thirdly, blockchain. I think there is no doubt that blockchain is going to play a critical role in banking going forwards. We're seeing this with decentralized finance. I think decentralized finance is going to be a disruptive force on banking going forwards, but also the whole journey around central bank digital currencies and digital assets. I don't necessarily believe that all CBDC solutions are going to be built on blockchain, but I'll be amazed if blockchain is not a critical element of these discussions going forwards. And then lastly, I think we're going to see an awful lot of impact around 5G and also edge computing. We have in the past been hampered by the fact that we cannot move large amounts of data out to the devices, and the connection, for instance, between mobile phones and the back-end banking systems have been hampered by bandwidth. I think with the growth of 5G and edge computing, we're going to see a change in how data is managed, how computational power is being utilized, and how that engagement between the customers and the banks will change, particularly as we'll probably see banks move their employees more and more out to work from home and not in central locations. So those are the technologies that I believe are going to be critical in the banking industry going forwards for the next 2-3 years. What do you guys think? And I'm sorry, I noticed this video has been a little bit longer than normally, but I hope you stayed with me to the end. Tell me what you think are going to be the critical technologies in banking going forwards, and let's have a chat on it. Thank you for listening yet again, and have a fantastic Wednesday. Talk to you later, guys.